Yo, do not forget to hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and do not forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed this video. So here's a guy I have not talked about in a long time, Joseph Parker. I don't think I've made a video about this guy in months, actually, since he lost to Dillian Whyte, last year. But apparently, HEARN wants to have Joseph Parker versus Dereck Chisora on the undercard of whoever Dillian Whyte's fighting on April 20th. Because obviously Dillian Whyte is no longer facing Anthony Joshua, but he will still be fighting on April the 20th. But his opponent has not been announced yet. It's either going to be Dominic Breazeale, Luis Ortiz, or Alexander Povetkin. But I think most likely it'll be Dominic Breazeale, just because right now Dominic Breazeale is a free fighter. He has no fight coming up. And I just think that's a fight that could be made easily, in my opinion. So, HEARN wants Joseph Parker to face Dereck Chisora. Now, a year ago, if this little fight would have been announced a year ago, I would tell you that Joseph Parker would win all day against Dereck Chisora. Funny enough, I think the last video I made on Joseph Parker after he lost to Dillian Whyte was, I said he should fight Dereck Chisora. I said he shouldn't just fall off, because I don't want to see him fall off. I said he should continue to fight in the UK and fight Dereck Chisora, because right now the boxing is hot in the UK, and Dereck Chisora is the perfect opponent for him, right? Obviously, since then, he fought some guy I never heard of. That's why I didn't make a post-fight of it, because I never heard of the guy. So, I knew that was going to be a foregone conclusion. Some people felt that he didn't look that good against that guy. Again, I wouldn't even know because I didn't even watch the fight, but Dereck Chisora versus Joseph Parker. Dereck Chisora is a guy that he always upset guys, right? He's a guy that sometimes he fights guys and he looks like his career is about to end, like he comes off 2-3 losses in a row, but then he comes back and beats a guy to put himself back into being like basically a contender, a heavyweight. Obviously, he just got knocked out against Dillian Whyte, but if he fought Joseph Parker, I've always felt that Joseph Parker, the problem that he has as a fighter is he doesn't have enough heart. That's my situation. Like, he's a guy that he's good. He's a good boxer. Okay, he's quick. He's good with countering. He's fast with his feet. He's fast with his hand speed. But when the things get rough, when a guy roughs him up, I feel like he doesn't take enough risks, and that's been my issue with Joseph Parker. He did it against Joshua. He did it against Dillian Whyte, where he would not do the necessary things that he was supposed to do to win the fight. Like, I thought he had to be way more aggressive, let his punches go way more, rough up Dillian Whyte, but he just didn't do it. I also felt that he needed to be way more aggressive against someone like AJ to beat him. He didn't do it. So against Dereck Chisora, Del Boy is going to be coming forward, applying a lot of pressure. Dereck Chisora is a pressure fighter who has a decent chin. I know he got knocked out by Dillian Whyte, but he's only ever been knocked out by guys who are punchers. He got knocked out against David Haye, who was in his prime at the time. He was obviously a big puncher. He also got knocked out against Dillian Whyte, who's a big puncher. So he's only ever been stopped by big punches. I do not think that Joseph Parker is a one-punch knockout artist. So I think if they fought, I think it would go the distance. Just because I don't think he's as big as, I don't think Parker is a big puncher like that. But it would just be, we would see where Joseph Parker is. And I just think it's good for him just to put him back out there in the spotlight. Because, fighting guys like Junior Farr or that guy he fought in his last fight, people aren't really going to be talking about that. I don't remember anyone talking about Joseph Parker's last fight where he fought that guy nobody knew of. And that's exactly why nobody made a post-fight about that, because they were like, who the hell is this guy? But if he were to fight Dereck Chisora in a big undercard in the UK like that, that would be a good look for him, because I'm guarantee you there will be many people talking about him in the post fights, especially if he wins. And that's a big fight. That'll be a fight on pay-per-view. I would imagine Dillian Whyte will fight on pay-per-view right over there in the UK. So I think that would be good for him, just because it will promote him again. It'll put him back in the spotlight. And like say he goes in there and blows out Dereck Chisora, it'll make him look good as a fighter, right? But I think that'll also be good for Dereck Chisora, because if Del Boy, Del Boy, like I said, he's kind of like an upsetter. He'll lose 3 fights in a row, but then he'll come back and he'll win 3 fights in a row. So if he were to go in there and be a former world champion like Joseph Parker, that'll make him look really good, in my opinion. And once again, he'll be in a position to fight for another big fight, right? But again, who knows? Maybe that knockout he received, that left hook he received from Dillian Whyte, maybe that changed him. You know, sometimes fighters get knocked out and they're never the same, so we never know. But this is a good fight. I would rather see Dereck Chisora versus Joseph Parker than, because they're saying Joseph Parker versus this prospect who's this New Zealand prospect, this Kiwi prospect by the name of Junior Farr. I mean, come on, man. I don't even know who this guy is, man. I mean, I've heard of him, but I've never even seen this guy fight. And he's a prospect. What's going to happen if Joseph Parker beats him? He's just going to be like, okay, he beat a guy that was a prospect who had no experience. Of course he's going to beat him. But Dereck Chisora is a known guy. And, you know, I just think it's way better to fight on a big undercard on pay-per-view like that with Dereck Chisora than a guy like Junior Farr. And I think put him, you know, he said he wants to put himself back into, he wants to, I heard he said before he retires, he wants to win a world belt again. Well, this is your opportunity to get yourself closer to that position if you go in there fighting a big pay-per-view against Dereck Chisora, a guy who was just in a big fight with Dillian Whyte. So hopefully he takes this. Hopefully Eddie Hearn goes to him and he offers him an offer. Hopefully Joseph Parker agrees, because like I said, that it'll be a big an all heavyweight card. You know, Joseph Parker versus Dereck Chisora, Dillian Whyte versus maybe Dominic Brazil. Who knows? And then who knows? Maybe they could be like the winner of this faces a Dillian Whyte versus the other guy winner. But then again, I'm thinking that Dillian Whyte is fighting for a mandatory. So if he beats Dominic Brazil, because remember, Dominic Brazil is the mandatory. So if he beats Dominic Brazil, maybe he'll be the mandatory for like Deontay Wilder. I don't know. Anyway, guys, that's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and subscribe for the latest unboxing, guys. Bye-bye.